I'm Becky Meagher, and welcome to Transitions, Body, Mind, Spirit. Transitions. We all have transitions in our life, and we have a very interesting guest today. And I like to use the metaphor of transitions, the metaphor of triathlons. That's something that I do. And first of all, you swim, and Ashley Whitney is our guest. She's going to tell us about that. Then you get in a transition area and you bike. And then you transition again and you run. And that is so much like our lives. And we have a wonderful guest here, Ashley Whitney. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, thank you.
And she is an amazing swim coach. And she also amazingly has won an Olympic medal, which is pretty interesting. And I'd first want to talk to Ashley about her Olympic medal, the swimming that you did, and then we're going to go back in time, how you trained as a child and how you got to that part. But tell us about the Olympics and when that was and what event you got your medal.
Gosh, so I just went to my 20th anniversary this past year at the Olympic Trials. At the 2016 Olympic Trials, they celebrated 96 and then 76 and 56 Olympians. And so that was really fun to come together at the Olympic Trials in Omaha, Nebraska, and see all these Olympians from swimming and past decades. And that was really, really an exciting time this past summer. I was the first Olympic team for women to qualify for the 4x200 freestyle relay. They didn't offer it to women until 1996. The 4x200, they said that women were not able to swim that event.
For our audience, tell us what that is. You kind of whip that name over.
4x200.
4x200 means what?
4 women each swim at 200 freestyle.
200, okay, and tell us what 200 means.
So an Olympic pool, which is 50 meters, that means 4 lengths of the pool. 4 lengths of the pool.
Okay, and this is what you call long course, right?
This is long course, yes. Your favorite course, Becky?
Yes, yes. So long courses were going from one end to the other the long way. Okay.
Yes.
All right. And then the Olympics, this is a relay. So explain.
Yes. So there's 3 other women in the relay along with me. And they did not offer this to women until 1996. So it was a really exciting time. As the first, we swim in the morning relay, and I swim in the morning relay in the prelim heat, and we got the Olympic record because we were the fastest team to qualify in the morning, which was really exciting. I did not swim in the evening heat, but because the women won gold in the evening, I also got a gold medal.
So you also got a gold medal?
Even though I didn't swim in the finals heat, yes. Yes.
I see.
And at the Olympic Trials, 6 women can qualify at the Olympic Trials for this relay.
Okay.
But every woman that is on the U.S. Olympic team is eligible for the relay, which is it was a very interesting dynamic. To be honest with you, I had no idea that this is the dynamic until we got to Olympics, and we were walking into the Olympic pool the first day, and you're looking at all the heat sheets were posted on the wall as we walked in on this hallway into Olympic pool.
And what's a heat sheet?
A heat sheet it shows you who's entered in each event, like which country and what the names were. And as I walked in and I saw the 4x200, and I thought USA, there was going to be these 6 women that qualified at the Olympic Trials, and instead I saw 26 women from the U.S. that had qualified for the team. So it was a very interesting dynamic. So even if you didn't swim the 200, but if you're looking better at the Olympic Trials, the coaches, if they liked you, they could put you on the team. So it was very, very political, and it just wasn't. It wasn't just for the '96 team. It was for all teams. It's actually very, very political about getting onto those relay spots. It's a little bit different now, but not much.
Wow. So you did get in the relay spot.
I got to swim in the prelims, which was very, very exciting. That's not all women get to do that qualify at the Olympics trials for the U.S. get to swim in the prelim heat.
Aha.
Yep. Or the finals.
Wow. And how did you feel getting a medal, a gold medal?
You know, it was bittersweet in a way that, you know, it was very exciting to see the team swim in the evening. A little disappointing that I didn't swim fast enough to swim in that final heat. But just an amazing experience, you know, representing the United States and at the Olympics. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to kind of go back in your life and kind of start as a kid, because you began swimming. Tell us about how you started swimming, why you even started, how old were you, and did you have a plan as a little kid going, I want to be in the Olympics, or it just happened? How did that come about?
Yeah, so my mom was a master swimmer, and she was swimming at Maryland Farms.
Okay, tell us what a master swimmer is.
A master swimmer means you are the master. Really what it means actually is that you are an adult swimmer, 18 or above is a master swimmer, and you go to different meets and you swim against people in your age group, which are 5-year increments essentially, so 18, well 18 to 24 is a little bit older, but then you go to 25 to 29 or 30 to 34 are the age groups, so 5-year increments from there. And so she was a master swimmer, and she liked to go to master swim meets around the world actually. She loved distance and open water events. And so it's sort of fun to come full circle and swim those events now.
Your mom was competing.
She was competing. She wasn't the best, but she definitely loved competing, for sure.
Huh.
And so she was training at Maryland Farms, which is now the YMCA, but it was Maryland Farms Country Club at the time. And her friend was coaching the Summer League team, and she needed 6 and unders on the team. So
6 and under, six-year-old and under.
6-year-old and under. And so I was 5 or 6 at the time. My mom threw me on the team, and I was on the team for the next 5 years and really hated it, Becky. I mean, loathed being on that team.
Why?
Oh, you had to work, and I was lazy. All I wanted to do was play at the pool. I didn't want to have to go and swim events.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then when I was 10 years old, I won a couple ribbons and medals at this city meet, the Nashville city meet, and thought, oh, I wonder if I could win some more medals if I swam year round. And so my parents put me on the year-round swim team, and it was horrible.
Horrible? Why?
Oh gosh, you know, you just thought you had to work at summer league swim practice, but the year-round swim practice is a whole nother ball game.
Wow.
For sure.
So what does that mean when you say swim practice year-round? So you're a 10-year-old, and what does that mean? How often you're in the pool?
I think as a 10-year-old, I probably went 2 or 3 times a week. I can't imagine that I went to any more than that.
Okay, but that was enough.
Yes, and it was a lot more swimming. It wasn't just a couple 25s. You were doing hundreds, and you were doing 150s and 200s. And I feel like the first time I went to try out for the swim team, they said to do 1,000. And I looked at them and said, what is 1,000? Like, what does that mean? So yeah, it was just a lot more swimming and very intense compared to the summer league where you swim a couple 25s and you have a meet every week and everyone gets a ribbon, and it's just the glory days in the summer.
The glory days.
The glory days. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then there you are, swimming more year-round.
Yeah.
And something must have changed that you started to like it?
So I must have been about 11 years old, and I remember riding to swim practice in the evening after dinner and homework. And
after dinner and homework, then swim practice.
And then we went to swim practice, and I remember it was dark and it was cold, and I thought, I don't really want to go there. And I got to swim practice, and I was the slowest person in the slowest lane. And this is like after a year of swimming. And something inside me clicked, and I thought, I wonder if I just tried a little bit harder, what would happen? And so I went from the slowest person in the slowest lane to the fastest person in the slowest lane. And there was 4 lanes that our team used at the time. It was at the Maryland Farms YMCA, it happened to be. And by the end of practice, I was the fastest person in the fastest lane. And everyone in the fastest lane said, what is she doing in our lane? Because she's cheating. She must be pulling a lane rope. And the coach was looking at him saying, no, she's not. And just really tapped into something inside and really pushed it to another level.
So you're saying in one incident, you were in the slowest lane.
Yeah.
And that same time, you were in the fastest lane.
Yeah, that same practice. I was the fastest person in the fastest lane.
And you just, something as a 11-year-old?
11, 10, 11, yeah. I mean, it wasn't.
You just decided, I'm going to put more effort in this.
Yeah. So I decided to quit being lazy, Becky.
Ah,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And so then I started seeing results in the swim meets that I went to, and then that was exciting to see keep dropping this time. And I thought, well, if I can drop all this time in some practice or meets, then I can try a little bit harder in practice. And it was just an ebb and flow and continue to get faster. And I remember being 12, and I was at a swim meet, sort of a regional swim meet, and the Olympics were on. I thought, what would happen if I were in the Olympics? And I never knew that it was going to be 4 years later. I was 12 at the time, and then 4 years later it was in the Olympics when I was 16.
You were 16 when you were in the Olympics?
16.
Wow.
But I didn't have visions then, but I thought, oh, what would it take? And I actually had an incident happen. I was having really bad problems with my knees that year. And
really bad what?
Problems with my knees.
Knees, okay.
And ended up at the swim meet, not finishing the swim meet because my knee had locked into place and I'd torn a meniscus and they couldn't unlock it. But unfortunately, my doctor that I'd been seeing all summer, fortunately and unfortunately, was the Olympic physician for swimming in Barcelona. So he really knew the sport and he knew the swimmers, and unfortunately I had to wait for a week until he got back to do surgery. So I felt like I was in really good hands. I didn't get to finish that meet and go to all the additional meets after that. But I decided not to let that hold me back. And I just kept getting faster and faster every year and setting new goals. So I was at a regional meet, and then I went to a junior national meet, and the next year I was at a senior national meet, and then the next year was at Olympic trials, and then the next year I was at Olympics. And so I just kept going and going and going from there.
What an amazing story. And it sounds like, were you becoming a little bit more competitive, and you go like, hey, I like winning. Hey, I like these medals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then your training before you went, you were, well, 15, almost 16, getting ready to train, I guess, for the Olympics. Was that all day and night? I mean, 6 days a week, or?
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
So tell us about that.
Yeah, so I grew up here in Nashville, and it happened to be that our team, every year, and that when we got to the senior level team, so when you started training mornings and afternoons, sort of before school and after school.
Okay, twice a day.
Yeah, twice a day. 2 days. You know all about those, don't you? Yeah. So we did twice a days. We were eligible to go onto these training trips, and at the time our team went to the Bowl School.
The what?
The Bowles School. It's in Jacksonville, Florida. B-O-L-L-E-S. The Bowles School.
Okay.
And my parents fell in love with this school, and they were chaperones on the trip, and I was pretty young to be going on these trips, and so they chaperoned along with me. And they thought, well, what if we send you there for high school? I was in middle school at the time when I was going on these trips, and we applied for school, and I got in, and it happened to be an international boarding school, which all of the countries that don't have very substantial training programs for Olympic hopefuls. Send their Olympic hopefuls to this school in Jacksonville, Florida. So from Suriname and Thailand and Malaysia and Korea and Brazil and all these amazing countries send their Olympic hopefuls there. So I went there as a freshman, and it was just unbelievable. It was a really unbelievable experience. And my parents moved down with me, so you could be a day student or a boarding student. And so my freshman year, I qualified for the Olympics, and then my sophomore year, freshman year, I qualified for Olympic trials, and my sophomore year, I was at the Olympic Games.
Wow.
Yeah, with 26 other of my teammates from high school.
But they weren't all from Bowles High School.
They were from the Bowles High School.
Really?
But they were international boarding students.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So your parents actually moved down to Florida to support you in your training to be at this wonderful school.
I was the baby, so everyone else was gone from high school and gone from the house. So they were able to make that transition, and they did it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then did you continue there till you graduated? Okay.
Yeah.
So you graduated from Bowles?
Graduated from Bowles School in Jacksonville, Florida.
Wow. So do you credit going to the Bowles School to kind of make the leap into being in the Olympics?
You know, it was a great opportunity. You know, it's just sort of being in the right place, the right time. Greg Troy, who was the coach there at the time, he was an Olympic coach for Thailand in 1992, and then he was an assistant coach for the U.S. team in 1996, the year that I was there. So he had 3 U.S. Olympians that year, and then I guess 23 other Olympians from around the world that he was responsible for getting onto those teams.
Wow. 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 So you got your Olympic medal, and then you graduated from high school, and then what happened to swimming?
So during my high school career, I also qualified. We set a national record, which was recently broken in the 4x100. We had an amazing relay. We all, 4 women, 4 high schoolers, swam 49 seconds, which is now, I guess, sort of slow with all the technology, and the training is much faster. But at the time, it was a really, really exciting race.
And what was it?
The 4x100 freestyle relay.
Okay.
I also qualified for the world team, which was in Perth, Australia, the Pan American team. So it wasn't just qualify for Olympics and then you're done. There was a lot of other stuff that happened during that time.
Compete in Perth? Okay, so wow.
Yeah, I won a silver medal for the 4x200 in Perth.
Again, a relay?
A relay.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, and the relay was all swimming, not
freestyle. Swimming.
Okay, got it.
Yes, because there are medley relays that swim other strokes, but I was just freestyle.
Okay.
And then I went to Georgia for a year, and we won the national title for the first time ever at University of Georgia, that we won NCAAs, and then transferred out to Cal Berkeley to finish up my swimming and college career out there.
Cal Berkeley in California. Okay, and you swam there.
Yeah.
And did one more things, more events?
Yes, I went to NCAAs that year. It was interesting. At the time, Cal Berkeley was not that great. I mean, going from being #1 in the NCAA to probably top 10. But at the time, the team was very transitional. And I'd have to say that those coaches were so opposite. UGA was very heavy in their training. And Terry McKeever, who ended up being the head Olympic coach in 2012, she's very touchy-feely and, you know, all about the psyche and making sure the whole person is there, which is very Berkeley in California. Yeah, so that was a very fun and different training environment that I've been part of ever.
Wow. So we can kind of fast forward here. Okay, so you got your degree, and then you have continued to be in the swim world as a profession, right?
Yeah, Yeah, when I got done with Berkeley and I moved back to Nashville, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but it definitely was nothing to do with swimming.
Oh, there
Didn't
you
want to do
go.
anything.
Ah,
And that was back in 2002 that I moved back to Nashville, and then started coaching in 2004. I was swimming along, and I told you this earlier, but I was swimming along just having an easy swim in the pool one day, and a coach came up to me and said, do you have any interest in coaching? And so I started coaching age group, which is younger children, year-round swimming, and I started coaching masters, and over a decade later, here we are.
there
I'm
you
coaching
go.
master swimming.
You're coaching.
I'm coaching you,
Yeah,
Becky.
I credit Ashley Whitney with helping me become a better swimmer
Thank
as
you.
I become a better triathlete, as I get older too. So, yeah.
You know, triathletes and master swimmers are like fine wine and cheese.
Oh,
The older you get, the better you get, Becky.
oh, I love hearing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
terrific. Wow. Wow. So you are out there training people, and my question is, if somebody comes up and says, hey, I really don't know how to swim, can you help me? What do you tell to somebody like that? Because I think people are intimidated. Oh, she's the Olympian. And maybe you can kind of explain to the public what Masters is all about.
Well, master swimming is adult swimming, and we always say that you are the master. So, you know, we will give a certain set and we will give instructions for the practice, but Becky, you could say, well, I'm not going to do butterfly today, and use some freestyle, and you are the master of your own workout. Really, it's just about fitness and fun, and you know, if you have goals, we want to help you work towards those goals, but it's just adult swimming. That's really what master swimming is about. And you could be an ex-Olympian or you could be a beginner adult, but everyone is welcomed to Swim Masters program, no matter your swim background, and we will help you get to your goals.
And we had been talking too that as you want to stay fit as you get older. What am I? God, 60, 68?
I know you're 65 to 69, Becky. I know your age group.
65 to 69
Yeah.
age group. That's my triathlon age group. And I know that the swimming has really been very, very good as I swim, bike, run, and it's always working on it. And I always feel so much better after I finish. And swimming with a group is so much nicer. You know, you're in there together. You're supportive. You don't even think about what you look like. You know, you're kind of bedraggled, but you don't even go there. You know, everybody's that way.
Yeah. Swimming is a life sport for sure. There's a gentleman who showed up 2 years ago to swim at our swim meet. He was 90 years old. He just aged up, and we all, as aging athletes, are so excited to age up into the next age group, because you are the youngest, you are the baby, you are the strongest of that age group. And so he showed up 2 years ago and swam some of the hardest events in the world, and you know, continues to come back to our swim meets year after year and perform. But it just goes to show you that this gentleman who's now 92.
92 and competing.
And competing, he gets up on the blocks and dives in and literally swims the hardest events in the world. But you don't have to, you know, compete to be 92, but it is something that you can do for a lifetime. Even I will say that, you know, you've had your injuries along the way, and oftentimes, you know, you can't bike or you can't run, but the therapist says, oh, well, you can go get in the water. Right. And so for us that are very active, it's something nice to sort of fall back onto when we're used to being active and sort of releasing those endorphins. It's a way to release those endorphins, even though you can't be on the bike or out on the road running.
Right. And then on a personal note too, you are married to a wonderful Joseph who swims also.
Yes.
He's a professor, right?
Yes.
And then you have two lovely kids. Tell us about your kids, and are they swimming? And how did you introduce them to that?
Yeah, so I took them to the Baby Whisperer when they were each 9 months old. There's a lady here in town named Canette Piles, and she unfortunately lost a child when he was 3 years old. He had walked out onto the lake and she'd found him. And from her tragedy, she took on the teaching of infant survival. And she, to show you how popular she is, she teaches 13 hours a day.
13 hours a day?
And each lesson is 10 minutes a day.
Oh my
10 minutes out of the day. And she teaches 13 hours straight. That's how popular she is. She is absolutely amazing. And so I took my children there and they swim with her. Each session's about 5 or 6 weeks long, depending on your child and if they've been sick and whatnot. So they started swimming when they were 9 months.
9 months, amazing.
Kept it going. When you're that young, I mean, there's only so much things you can do, like library and music, and so it was just something that we did every week. We just went and played in the water and practiced our skills and had fun. And they both swim for Nashville Aquatic Club now, which I coach for, Nashville Aquatic Club.
Right.
And they both swim for the summer team that I swim for, which is Seven Hills swim team. And I think the coolest experience and so exciting that we had just recently, I swam, my husband and I did the Nevis St. Kitts Channel swim.
Oh, yes, yes.
And out along the beach, we had a 100-meter course. And my oldest daughter, Maya, had her fins on, and we practiced just sort of swimming up in the course, and we'd swim stroke for stroke, looking at each other. And she was just out there swimming open water, and it was so delightful. So it's really such a fun thing to share with them.
And that race, I believe that was 2.5 miles of swimming, open water,
miles,
and you won it.
Won it, yeah.
That's fabulous.
In record time.
In record time,
Yeah,
I love
exciting.
that.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I wish we had even more time to talk about things. Basically, if somebody wants to learn to swim in Nashville, or increase their skills, the Nashville Aquatic Club, NAC, and we'll put the website on there.
Thank you.
They can, and you can meet Ashley, and you're technically head of NAC?
Master's coordinator. No, master's coordinator.
Master's coordinator. And my own personal experience, she is wonderful. I mean, she will be with somebody who barely can swim and throw them in with people who are swimming all around, and it's amazing. So highly, highly recommend it. It's fun, and it keeps you fit and laughing at yourself, and it's really great. Any other?
Becky, you lead the party lane, I'll have to tell you. I mean, you've got
the
party lane going. Everyone wants to be in Becky's lane for sure.
Well, it's very great to know that you started out in the slower lane and worked your way up. And I've been working my way up this season too. So it's inspirational to know that you started back there too.
Yeah.
You know, and then the rest is history.
And the rest is history, yes. Well, thank you so much for having me on the show.
Ashley, you are wonderful. I'm so glad that you could impart your wisdom. And
thank you.
It is Transitions, Body, Mind, Spirit. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yay!
All right. Thank you so much. That was fun.
What a good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yay. All right.
All right.
Yeah, perfect.